What up, y'all? So we have another video today, day number 2 of the 30-day challenge. And what's crazy is that, just a quick story. I was at my gym. I go to martial arts gym here in Oakland, and I bumped into one of the guys there who actually saw one of my most watched videos on this channel about my $3,400 apartment that I left back in 2022. That video is old at this point. And I talked about in that video how I was leaving Oakland, and for many reasons, like paying $3,400, not feeling safe, like all these questions. And when I saw him, he was like, "Oh, dude, you're back in Oakland." And I've been back for about 2 years now, but I did leave for about a year and a half. And I was like, yeah, it was like, I left. I lived in another state for a while, and then I came back because of a job opportunity, and that job opportunity required me to go into San Francisco every now and again. San Francisco is way too expensive. I also don't like it as a city. And the only part of it that I like is near Golden Gate Park. That's too far from the city, yada, yada, yada. So I was like, well, Oakland makes the most sense because it's just better in terms of travel and commute time. But obviously I didn't choose a place that was like, one, very expensive, like downtown Oakland where I was living when I made that video. And two, it's much cheaper than anywhere else in the Bay. Like for the apartment, the deal I got was it's just impossible to find out here. I got very lucky with the place that I'm currently living at. So I ended up moving back, and also, I was here for about 2 years, built community. I started going to my church out here in Oakland and building that community. I also have been going to my martial arts gym since I started jiu-jitsu, and I've been doing jiu-jitsu for about 4.5 years now. I'm going on 5 soon. And I was like, well, it makes sense. Yeah, it's not perfect. Nowhere you live is perfect. I lived in Florida for a little while. I lived in Ohio. I come from New York. Like, all these places are imperfect in so many ways. Obviously, safety should be number one. I don't have kids yet, but that's going to come into consideration in the next year or two. So if I stay in Oakland, I wouldn't bring my kids, unfortunately. I wouldn't bring my kids to Oakland District School. Instead, I'll probably take them out. And luckily, we have some addresses we can work with to make sure our kids go to those places when I do have kids. So I did come back to Oakland due to that, the cost effectiveness. Now, I'm the type of person, back in the day, I was in a relationship and she really wanted to leave. So that influenced a lot of the decision to leave as well. But when I came back, I was with someone else, but that broke up. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll just stay in Oakland by myself. I can tolerate a little bit of pain. No one's gonna mess with me if I'm out late. Yeah, like I grew up in Coney Island. Like, the likelihood of getting shot is still a thing, unfortunately. But I know where to go. I'm pretty self-aware, especially growing up in the hood when I was a young youth, and being in Coney Island when it was like some of the worst times to be in Coney Island. So I was like, yeah, I'll stay here. Now I'm in a relationship, I'm engaged, and I'm like, well, now, she doesn't want to live there as well. So I have to consider moving elsewhere, but she also doesn't want to leave Oakland due to community and all these other aspects I already mentioned. So we decided to come back to Oakland, not paying $3,400 for an apartment. I will never do that again. It is stupid. It is a waste of your money. Use your, if you could do it and just like live a little uncomfortable for about 2 to 5 years and just like stack your cash, not even to get like a super nice house, but I don't know, a condo, or stay renting until you retire early, if that's the thing you want to do. There's so many different ways. I never understood these luxury apartments and people living there. People say, oh, it's for the network and like meeting people. Yeah, sure, but you have to be very, very, very ingrained in your community and super extroverted, which those folks are super rare. So I was like, I'm just gonna live in a cheapy place. It's a pretty good deal. I have 2 bedrooms. I have an office and my bedroom. And worst case scenario, and the reason why I got it was I was like, well, if I need to get a roommate because I get laid off again, I could do that, and my rent will be dirt cheap because I'm paying a pretty good price for my income. So I came back to Oakland. I couldn't believe it myself, but when I got the job opportunity and I was looking at apartments, I was like, I can either live in South San Francisco where I know nobody and it's hella boring down there, or I could live in Oakland where I already know people, I have a few connections, I have my church there, so I could just, build my community there. And in some cases, Oakland is getting better very slowly compared to when I first moved in 2021, I think. I always forget when I moved there. But when I moved there, like, it was really bad, especially during the pandemic and the homelessness situation. It's like, let's help these people. Let's get them off the street. Let's get them clean. Make them good stewards of society instead of being takers. But in order to change anything, you have to change yourself. So that's something I try to do with my church. Volunteer. I try to give as much as I can in places that I can. But I ended up coming back. I know. I'm like, damn, that's like a contradiction to what I was saying in my last video, but I wanted to follow up with that video because, I have a lot of comments and people say different things about Oakland. And I always think, like, are these people, if they're from Oakland, they probably get it, but it depends on where they're from Oakland, because it's not like Brooklyn. There's so many pockets, which is weird about the Bay Area. There's pockets of like bad places and good places, especially in Oakland. You have bad places and you have some beautiful, amazing houses in the hills of Oakland that are just gorgeous. Anyone want to live there, especially with how close you are to like San Francisco and other parts of the Bay Area that are very beautiful. But yeah, I just wanted to follow up with that, and yeah. All right, that's all I got. Peace.